You have angered Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. up watching this morning, and he said, listening to Michael Wilbon on Get Up just now, talking about the Knicks and Cavs as a junior varsity game compared to what we witnessed last night with OKC and San Antonio and all those red, angry face emojis. What do you have to say to Stephen A.?
I was hoping to get that response. Stephen A's easy to goad, right? So that, listen, I overstated it purposely. It is the undercard, though. Sorry, it's the undercard game. It doesn't mean we won't get a couple of great games in this series, although I don't think we're going to get one tonight in game one. And the Knicks, again, the Knicks can beat anybody, I think, right now. I'm hedging after watching San Antonio last night, but it's the undercard. And you don't have the circumstances involved. You don't have a defending champion, which we had last night. You don't have the now, sorry Joker, sorry SGA, sorry everybody, the best player on the planet in this series. You got a lot of nice players. You would love to be a fan. If I'm a fan of the Knicks right now, it ain't last night. It is not going to be.
Fair enough, but it'll be what it'll be, and we'll see. And the fans in this city have waited over half a century for a shot like this. They've been to obviously they were in Game 7 of the finals in '94, so you can't say they haven't been this close, because obviously they have been literally that close. But this feels, since then, even the 99 run didn't feel like this. This feels like the Knicks really have a formula, and it feels like they should have a decided advantage in this series.
There's a tremendous energy in the city right now. There's no doubt about it. And obviously the fans here have been waiting so long for this just to get started. This is going to be a completely different challenge for the Cavs than they had against the Pistons. Jalen Brunson, Karl Towns, the way OG Anunoby is probable for tonight's game, so we expect that he will start. I don't know if he'll get his full minutes, but I expect him to start. This is going to be a huge challenge. What we're going to see here is whether the Knicks layoff has any effect.
Rust
the Knicks are
rest.
The Knicks are, the history tells us that a team that is coming off of a sweep versus a team that is coming off 7 games, historically dominant. It's something like 19-4 in series. The Knicks are appropriately very heavily favored to win the series. But in the situation where the team rhythm versus rust, we have seen repeatedly. And one of the ways that you can get into an upset situation, the first way you get upset in the playoffs is you lose a home game. So the Cavs tonight may have a modicum of a way to try to put some pressure on it if they can keep their rhythm going.
Wendy is absolutely right. And last year, Game 1 is all too familiar in the city of New York in terms of what happened versus those Indiana Pacers. I just have been with these guys all year. We've made it that very clear. I think there is a level of focus about them, though, that to me eclipses the potential. You got to be on red alert, right? But I think that's where they are. And we keep hearing Mike Brown praise them as a veteran group. Like, that was the thing that switched in that Atlanta series to me. It was that veteran poise, the fact that they have been in these moments together that showed up. And I actually think in this case, in this very same Game 1 last year, probably weighs very heavy on them. And so they are on high alert.
Let me ask you this question. If we're looking at it, and sometimes this is not the right way to approach things because everything can be a team effort. But if you're looking at the Knicks tonight and you were to say this is a Karl Anthony Towns game or this is a Jalen Brunson game, based on the matchups and everything else, which is it? Because I'm hearing a lot of people say the Cavs aren't going to be able to match up with Brunson. I feel like the story of the Knicks playoffs has been Anunoby and Towns and Brunson when they need him. He's obviously still brilliant. But does he now step into the middle of it all and to the front of it all in this matchup?
It's a Brunson game. Greeny, Towns has been outstanding. OG Anunoby has been outstanding, but this team has gone as Jalen Brunson has gone.
Right.
If he was terrible over this series, I'm not sure it's going to look the way it has looked. Karl Anthony Towns has been outstanding. So has OG Anunoby. This entire offense is open. But when Jalen Brunson plays well and sets the tempo, as we saw him do in Game 1 versus Atlanta as well, at home, things go well.
You expect the Knicks to beat them soundly. We were talking during the break. We watched Game 1 of their series, the Knicks series against the Sixers. Sixers looked spent, absolutely spent. And the scenario is almost exactly the same. The Knicks had been resting, not quite this long, but they had been resting. The Sixers were coming off a 7-game war, and then they went right into Game 1. Do you expect it to look like that tonight?
I do. I expect, they can play their way out of rust after a 7-point halftime deficit. Mm-hmm. They can play their way out of that into the form that we've seen since Monica? Game 3 against Atlanta.
4. Mm-hmm.
Game 4 against Atlanta. I expect the Knicks to. I expect this to be like a 5-game series. And it's not to say. I look at Cleveland and I keep wondering, why aren't they better? Why isn't Cleveland better? Why? And I know the bigs don't. Mobley and Allen don't assert themselves all the time. But when they have, whether it was against Toronto right? Or in this last series we saw right through Game 7. Everybody wants to talk about the dynamic guard play and those two guys. Okay, fine, because they together can score and may need to score 70 points to get a Game 1 win in Madison Square Garden tonight. It still, to me, is the bigs in Cleveland.
You could play this, what I'm about to say, back tomorrow and use it against me. I'm just going to say sometimes the Cavs are very, very good. And man for man, the Cavs are probably more talented than the Celtics. And definitely
that's why I want to know why they aren't better, because they're so good man for man.
Definitely more talented than the 76ers, and their key player isn't Embiid, who's coming off of a lumbering game. And the Cavs have had some success against Jalen Brunson. Now, Brunson could score 40 tonight. I am certainly not saying it, but the Cavs did have some, and the Cavs had success against Cade Cunningham in the regular season. Mm-hmm. The Cavs actually have this guy, Dean Wade, who is 6'10", who they will use as the primary defender on Brunson. When Brunson went up against him this year, Brunson struggled a little bit. And I don't even feel comfortable bringing this up because a regular season game versus now is so different. But Dean Wade at 6'10" is the type of defender you put on Jalen Brunson because the length can sometimes bother him. The defenders have struggled against Dean Wade in this playoffs. Now, what the Knicks will do is they'll have a complete array of strategy to get Dean Wade off of Jalen Brunson. Mm-hmm. It won't take, magician stuff to do it, but they will do it. They will attack James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. They'll get those matchups. But the Cavs are better than they're kind of being given credit for when they're at their best, which they may not be.
Maybe they will be tonight. We'll see. Quick final thought.
I get that, Wendy, and I think that's appropriate. I actually got the series going 6 for that reason. But I do think that the difference on the defensive side of the basketball overall, in terms of the Knicks' ability to make the Cavs more uncomfortable, is going to be.
She's right.
We'll have Game 1 tonight of the Eastern Conference Finals from Madison.
Spins, shoots, and hits. 11.5 to go. Wemby's giving the Spurs a 2-point lead. At the end of the basket, lays it up and in. Tie game at 101. We go overtime. Gilchrist Alexander gets inside, brings it down. Wemby's going to pull a deep three. Oh, again we go to double overtime. Wemby beat him inside, threw it down. And the San Antonio Spurs on an epic night from their superstar. The Spurs take Game 1.
Listen, I know that I am prone to hyperbole, but what Victor Wembanyama did last night may have been one of the greatest games that you'll ever see. 41 points, 24 rebounds, and that was just the offense. On defense, he held the Thunder to 4 points on 2 of 10 shooting as the contesting defender. And I want you to listen to Jalen Williams when asked after the game about trying to score against Wembanyama.
How much does the specter of Wembanyama standing in there protecting the rim flash through your mind with every decision you make on what to do with the ball when you've got it?
A lot. He's like 8 feet, so.
He gets taller every game. I've said it before. Every single game he plays, he gets a little bit taller. Michael Wilbon, you've been covering the game forever, watching the game forever. I'm not old enough to have seen the impact that Bill Russell had on games.
Me either,
defensively. You're old enough to have watched it.
No, I'm not. Bill Russell retired when I was 9.
Okay.
I'm not that. Greeny's only known me my whole life. He's got me being 87 years old.
No, that's not true. Bill Russell played all through the 60s. Okay, fair
69
enough.
was his last.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, well, one way or another. Is it reasonable?
Give you a hard time.
Is it reasonable to say that, because we'll point to the points and we'll watch the scoring and we'll see him shoot a step. What Bill Russell definitely never did was pull up from 32 feet and very comfortably knock down a three.
Red would have had him shipped out.
But is he having? Would you is it a Russell-esque
It
defensive
reminds
impact?
me of the young child moments of that. The number there that really stands out is only 10 shots. They only took 10. That means he dissuaded another 12, 15. A team as aggressive and usually fearless as Oklahoma City only took 10. That speaks to the Russell nature. Yes, I'm giving you a hard time.
Yes, no, that's okay.
But it, to me, so I'm thinking about it last night. I'm thinking, oh my God, my father would roll over in his grave if I even invoked the thought of Bill Russell, the image of Bill Russell. And I do remember young Kareem and older Wilt. Wilt at the end. Wilt in the early 70s when they won 33 in a row. And it does remind me of all of that because people would go in and go, nah, I don't think so. I mean, truly great Hall of Fame players. Nah, I mean, there's a reason. I mean, Jerry West and Elgin Baylor were over against Bill Russell. They couldn't go in there and do it. And Wembanyama, to bring it up to date, yeah, there's some of that. You can just see there are times, there are sequences that end differently for OKC against any other defender in the league except that dude.
I mean, one of the quantifiable things to that point, Wilbon, is I kept looking, and through 3 quarters, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has shot just 2 free throws.
Yeah.
And that is exactly it, right? Like, it's tough to get to the rim when Wemby's there. So you're right, the number is probably way bigger than just 10.
And go ahead, Wendy.
8 feet is not accurate. He plays taller than that.
Right.
Because of how long his arms are. But it's not just vertical, it's horizontal. Because he can move, he can guard the corner, and he can also get to the lane.
He blocked a Shai jump shot on the baseline.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's never happened to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the NBA.
The thing is, I know if you're a Thunder fan, you're saying, but we can play so much better. The Thunder did not play poorly last night. Yeah. Granted, they missed some open shots that they are probably going to hit, especially in the first half. But they did get the ball into the rim against him a little bit. Shai got the ball, a couple of big baskets at the rim. Yeah. Caruso got a basket at the rim. Jalen finished a couple times at the rim. It wasn't like this was a 0 performance. The Thunder, they generated 14, 15 steals. They did a lot of what they normally do and still couldn't get over the hump. That's what's scary.
Right, because the margins are that small. Like, there's 2 possessions at the end of regulation that keep coming back to mind for me for the Thunder. But even in that, the Spurs are going to get better when De'Aaron Fox returns.
Yeah.
And the Thunder have to figure out how to get Shai and Shat more involved offensively and make them be felt, their presence be felt.
Part of those turnovers that OKC created were because of the absence, you would assume, of De'Aaron Fox, who will be a primary ball handler, assuming he's able to be healthy and come back. So that was game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Game 1 in the East is tonight on ESPN. And Mr. Wilbon, I have to tell you,